Welcome back, and in this lesson, we're going to answer one simple question. What are clients really paying for when they hire somebody like you to build a website? It's not what most people think. Many beginners believe that clients care about the code, or what tech stack, or what framework. They worry about lines of JavaScript, frameworks, complicated technical setups. They think about if a website uses the newest AI tools or the most advanced CMS, it might be worth more. But that's a common misconception. Here's the truth. Most clients don't even know the names of the tools that you use, right? They judge your work based on how it looks and how it feels. They're paying for perception, trust, and clarity. To illustrate this point, let's look at two real websites today. Let's start by opening the homepage of zensrenovation.com and stay on the first section here. Take a moment to absorb what you see. At first glance, this website looks professional enough, but it feels dark and heavy. There's a large photo of a house in the background with a dark filter over it. The text over the image says built to last, crafted to impress. And there's a yellow button that says start your project. It's not bad, but it feels generic, it feels templated, it feels like AI built this. Now, slowly scroll through the page. Notice the blocks of text and the icons. The navigation labels are simple, and the color palette is limited to dark gray, black, and yellow. It's like a little bumblebee. It feels like many other contractor websites. There's nothing immediately that communicates uniqueness or craftsmanship. Pause here and look at the layout. Everything is centered, and the spacing between sections is tight. The images are small, and some of the icons feel like they came from a template. There isn't much white space. Now, when design experts talk about poor design quality eroding trust, this is exactly what they mean. This here. This site doesn't make you feel like you're dealing with a high-end custom builder. It feels modest. That's not because of the code or the tools used, it's because of the visual choices. Dark colors can make a site feel cluttered, and limited white space, this signals that the content isn't well organized. Small details like generic icons, typos, or inconsistencies quickly degrade your credibility. Now, let's look at a very different example. Open teleclark.com.au. You're going to be greeted by huge letters spelling teleclark. The design is bold, it's minimal, and the background is bright white with black typography. There's no clutter on the screen, just a clean header, a small line of navigation options, and a large image of an architectural project. Now slowly scroll down the page. Notice how much breathing room there is between sections. The site uses high-resolution photography that fills the screen. The typography feels custom and stylish. Even the time and location displayed in the corner, they give the impression of a studio with personality. Everything about this layout feels intentional. Now pause here and compare this section to the previous site. Here, the white space looks like a pause in conversation. It gives your eyes room to rest and highlights the images and the text. There's something called the branding journal, and this notes that giving the audience space on your site is the digital equivalent of silence. It allows people to think and feel clearly. When we give users breathing room, they perceive the brand as calm, confident, and premium. The colors are restrained, black and white with an occasional muted accent. This simplicity feels elegant. According to research on a web design and brand perception, colors evoke emotions. Blue suggests trust and professionalism, while clean white space conveys simplicity and elegance. Other colors portray different values as well, but the combination here signals sophistication and quality. Look at the typography. Large letters, custom typefaces, and generous margins, they're sending a signal that this studio values design. When fonts, colors, and imagery align with the brand, users subconsciously sense reliability and care. It's not just pretty, it's actually communicating professionalism and trustworthiness. Now scroll down a bit further and notice how the site uses motion and interaction sparingly. There's no gimmicky animation, no fade in, and each section introduces a project with minimal text and strong images. And if you go up here, you can see, click on menu. The navigation is clear. Work, process, studio. There are no clever or nondescript category names. So Nielsen Norman Group actually explained that when navigation labels are meaningful and unambiguous, Users feel confident and trust the company. Think about how these two sites make you feel. The one feels like a generic contractor website. The second feels like an award-winning design studio. Yet both of them are actually built on standard web technology. The difference lies in perception, the creation. According to a web study cited by Made for Web, 75% of consumers judge a company's credibility based on their website design alone. That's a huge number. 75%. Another study points out that users form an opinion about a site in just 50 milliseconds. That's faster than you can read the first line of text. That's crazy. So what are clients actually paying for when they hire you? They are paying for your perception. They want their business to look professional and trustworthy. Design quality is the first step to garnering trust. They're paying for trust. A well-designed site communicates competence and reliability. When the layout is organized, the colors align with the brand, and there are no errors, people feel comfortable. Trust drives engagement and conversion, right? They're paying for clarity. They're paying for trust, which means clear headlines, intuitive navigation, and breathing space that help visitors understand exactly what you do in seconds. Clarity drives action. And when users know where to go and what you offer, they're more likely to become customers. They're paying for brand positioning. Good design positions a business as high-end, modern, traditional, playful, or innovative, obviously depending on the choices that you personally make while you're building it. The Branding Journal explains that your website is your brand's digital home, and its design sends powerful signals. If your design doesn't align with your audience and vertical, you might signal that you don't understand them. So let's bring this back to our two examples. Zen's Renovation may be a solid company by itself, right? Local service-based business, but their website's dark palette, generic layout, and lack of white space communicate budget service. This is obviously a low-budgeted website. Tella Clark's site, on the other hand, with its bold typography, generous white space, and curated images, like look at these things. These are beautiful. The code behind both of the sites is very similar, but the perception of how we view these sites is completely different. As you build websites with AI workflows, just remember that the tools are just means to an end. Your clients don't care if you're using a drag and drop builder, a custom theme, or advanced code. They care about how their customers will feel when they land on the website. A modern, clean layout suggests attention to detail and professionalism, while outdated visuals, for example, Zen's Renovation, right? Or slow load speed suggest neglect. High quality doesn't necessarily mean adding more features or complexity. In fact, adding too many animations, like these guys, right? Got too much going on here. Or clever tricks can actually hurt your message. The Branding Journal, again, warns that overly complex sites actually send the wrong signals if your brand is about simplicity and efficiency. Instead, focus on creating a strong visual hierarchy, consistent typography, real imagery, and generous white space. Use colors that support the brand's message. Make navigation intuitive. Display contact information and testimonials prominently to build trust. So, of course, you're always going to want to test your designs on different devices as well. You got to make sure that they load quickly. A mobile-friendly, responsive site is essential in a world where most people are browsing on their phones. Fast loading times reduce friction and enhance credibility. So, finally, remember that your work shapes the first impression of a business. Within 50 milliseconds, visitors decide whether a site feels modern, trustworthy, or outdated. Modern, trustworthy, or outdated. Clients hire you because they think that you can craft that impression. When you invest time in layout, typography, color, imagery, and spacing, you elevate the perceived value of that business. To sum it up, clients are not paying for the code. They're paying for how their websites make people feel. They want perception, trust, clarity, and brand positioning. Better design leads to higher perceived value. When you understand this, you can deliver websites that are not only award-winning, but also help your clients succeed in their goal. In the next lesson, we'll dive deeper into how to use AI workflows to achieve this level of quality. For now, take some time to reflect on what you've seen, open other websites, notice how they make you feel, and practice identifying the elements that actually convey value. That's how you're going to start thinking like a high-end web designer. That's all for this one. I'll see you on the next.